So now that we have our project running, what we want to do is have our turtle appear in the center of the screen. Okay. And when is that going to happen in our code? Well, this for loop and all of these hide turtles are us getting the turtles to crawl off the screen and go away. Now yours might look different because you might have taken part in the super challenge where you thought of a different way to get the turtles off of the screen, or to get the loop to continue to execute until all of the turtles have left the screen. But regardless, we're going to go after this block of code and we're going to make a new turtle. So I'm going to call mine turdy. Okay. And I'm going to say is equal to turtle.turtle. And I'm going to say turdy is equal to, turtle.color is equal to green. And let's see if he appears on the screen. So I'm going to play it. And he does not appear on the screen. So what is the problem? Why is he not appearing? Well, something that I didn't tell you is that when you add a tracer to a turtle, it adds tracer to all of the turtles. It adds a tracer to your entire game. Okay, and so what's happening is that this turtle being created is left off in the tracer, all right, and it's not being printed out to the screen. And so what we need to do is, maybe what I want to do here is, after I draw the C and I set the tracer, I draw the C instantaneously, I clear the tracer here at the bottom. Maybe what I can do is I can get rid of the tracer. C.tracer is equal to 1. And this is getting rid of the tracer, because now instead of waiting for 10 movements before drawing to the screen, it now draws one, it waits for 1 movement before drawing to the screen, which is the default setting. Right? So basically we're like, this here is undoing the tracer that we set up here. Right? And so since we set it to 1, that means once this 1 movement happens of us creating the turtle, it's going to draw that turtle on the screen. So let's go ahead and run it and see if that works. And you'll see our turtles are also moving out at a slower rate, or walking out at a slower rate. And once they get out of here, then we should have our turtle appear in the center of the screen. There we go. Right? So our late bloomer appears, but now we want to make sure his shape is a turtle. So I'm going to go ahead and come here and say turdy.shape is going to be turtle. Now I'm going to run this guy. And so if our turtle appears on the screen, what we want to do next is program it so that if I press W, the turtle faces north and moves up. If I press S, then he faces south and moves down, and so on. Right? So how can I get my program to read in my keystrokes and act based on my keystrokes? Well, let me show you. So first of all, I'm going to say green, comma, the first color is the outline, and the second color is the fill, right? So what it is. So I want to make it white on the outside and green on the inside, just like the other turtles. And what I want to do here is I want to do wn.onKey, and then I want to do wn.listen. Okay. So this wn_on_key, what it does is it runs this function if this key is pressed. Okay. And the listen is waiting and listening and constantly checking, has this happen? Has this happen? Has this happen? Right? So you have to have the listen. And so what we're going to do is it's going to say, okay, I did detect that the W key was pressed, so I'm going to run this function definition. So I'm going to call mine north for W, and because I want my turtle to, move to the north. And then right over here, I'm going to define my def north. Okay. And so what I want to say here is turdy dot, and now I'm going to do set heading. We talked about set heading earlier, and what it is it takes in a degree. And depending on what degree, it's going to turn the turtle facing that direction. So 0 is facing to the east, this side. 90 is facing to the north up here. 180 is facing to the west, and then 270 is facing to the south, and then 360 is also facing to the east. So you'll see that it moves in 90-degree increments, right? So we got 90, this goes to here. 90 plus 90 gets us to here. 90 plus 90 gets us to here. And then 90 plus that gets us back to where we were. So I want him to face north, so I'm going to do set heading 90. Not only that, but I'm also going to say 30.forward, and I'm going to move 30 steps. Okay. Now you'll see immediately that there's a problem. And the problem here is that 30 is underlined red. And why is that? It's because 30 doesn't exist here, right? If I hover over it, it says unresolved reference 30. What that means is the variable 30 does not exist in the function definition north. And that's true because where did we create 30? We created him in main. So this 30 is local to main. We don't want that. We want him global, right? So he could be seen everywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that out, put it at my top of my program. Now 30 is global. Okay. That means I can use him here in main, but what I need to do is I need to say global 30. And I also need to say global 30 here. And so let's see if this actually works. Draws all the turtles, gets them off of the screen. Once my 30 appears, then, ooh, we got a straggler here. Okay, so he disappeared in the stand. Now if I press W, he does that. Press W again, and he moves up. You see that? Right. Now if I press A and D and S, nothing happens. And why not? It's because I haven't programmed it. Right? I haven't programmed a W on key for A and for D and for S. So I'm going to leave that as a challenge exercise. And so remember, you want to put the key here that it's going to act on, and you want to put the function definition that it's going to run right over here. So you're going to need to create a function definition for A, one for D, and one for S, and it needs to do what you want it to do. Right? So it's going to be very similar to def north, except it's not going to turn in the same direction, but it is going to move the same amount of forward. Right? And you know that 30 that we made? Maybe what we can do is do a pen up right down here so that we don't see him walking around. Dot pen up and leaving a line behind him. Okay, so I'll leave that as a challenge exercise, and you could have fun doing that. And I'm going to press the W key and see if the turtle doesn't leave a mark. Alright, so I'm going to press up. Yep, okay, there we go. So go ahead and program the rest of his motions.